Thank you so much, Joya. And thank you so much for the land acknowledgement. That was so beautiful. And that was the version that I never heard before. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. And hi, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Welcome to the Empower Cash Management Workshop. I'm really excited to have all of you here. And to start, just adjusting my screen here. There you go. Perfect. Okay. I'd like to introduce a little bit about myself in addition to the email that you got. My name is Debbie Chen. I am a Taiwanese Canadian daughter. I'm a money mindset coach. I've been an accountant for over 15 years, and I've been a coach for just a little over 4 years. And when I found coaching, I found my sole purpose, and it's really to empower women financially, to, I say, maximize their potential in terms of financial potentials, personal growth potentials, as well as spiritual potentials as well. I am really passionate about helping women align their financial decisions with their purpose and their life's work. And yeah, and in every interaction that I have with my clients and people that I come across is to hope to bring them empowerment in the way they speak about in the way that talk about their narratives about money, their money stories, and how they deal with their finances. We've got quite a few things to go over today, so we'll dive right into it. The first item on the list is agreement and alliance. In a little bit, I'll do what we called a design alliance, which is basically we'll design together the container of how we want to be in this space together. And then after that, we'll talk a little bit about the importance of money mindset and the importance of money mindset, especially when it comes to cash management. Then we'll do a little leader within visualization. Then you'll go into a breakout room to share what comes up during the visualization, and you get an opportunity to come up with a structure that you want to implement starting today to call on your inner leader when you need it, especially when you're dealing with your finances. Then the second half of this workshop will focus on the technical side of things. I'll share a file, an Excel file, as well as a Google Doc version of it with you. And we'll quickly go over it, but I also want to focus on the emotions and the feelings and how we think about this spreadsheet when we go over the different items. So to design an alliance, I call it designing the container, creating a safe space for everybody. And I know that everyone is off camera. I usually have most of my participants on camera, especially during the breakout room, but I understand circumstances, and it is late afternoon on the hump day. So I understand if you are not feeling comfortable, that is totally fine. But if you could, that would be awesome. And know that at any time, if you need to step out, send us a message, just make sure you take care of yourself. So item number 1 on the design alliance and agreements. And thank you, Maria, for turning on your camera. I really appreciate that. And so confidentiality is very important in the work that I do as an accountant and also as a coach. I fully believe that we can't really create a trusted environment if there's no confidentiality involved. So what that means in this space is that, thank you, Diana. What that means in this space is that everything that gets shared in this space, and I know this is being recorded, and Joya, I'll design with you that when they come back and share, maybe we won't start recording until after we get into the material or just about to get into the material, is that everything gets to stay in this room. In the breakout room, in the main room, if you don't feel comfortable sharing, I will never call you out and force you to share. And if you do share, know that we hold each other's confidentiality. We can always share the learnings from this workshop, but any detail, the names, work, and anything that is really sacred to our personal space will not get shared. And if you can do a thumbs up reaction, so I know that all of you agree to this, that would be awesome. We all agree to confidentiality. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica. And if you're on camera, you can also just give me a heads up, a thumb up. Thank you. Awesome. Then the second item is nobody gets to be right or wrong, and everyone gets to just be. There's no judgment. So as you arrive in the space, before we get into the material, just allow yourself to shed any judgments or any kind of body and sensations and emotions, anxiety, anything out the door. This is a safe space to explore and experiment your relationship with your cash management. So allow yourself to fully be who you are. And when you're in a breakout room, keep that in mind as well. Set that intention that you and your breakout partner are co-creating a safe space to strengthen the learning. Does everyone agree to the agreement? If I can get a thumb up. Awesome. Perfect. And I'm just quickly looking at the chat to make sure I got everything. Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, share as much or as little as you like. I would love for you to be on camera. You don't have to. And when you're in the breakout room, check in with your partner as well if they're okay going off camera, on camera. Again, I feel like I sound like a broken record, but the purpose really is to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and safe in the space, especially when we're talking about money. And lastly, allow yourself to play and experiment. The process of cash management can and doesn't have to be anxiety provoking or nerve wracking. It can be a lot of fun. And so if we all put a little intention on, I'm here to experiment, I'm here to play, I'm here to see if there's a different perspective I can have on cash management. And if we just have that one and only intention, that will be a great growth for all of us. So if you can agree to that, maybe give me a thumb up or an emoji. Awesome, thank you. And before we dive into money mindset, is there anything I need to know about your day, what is happening in your life that you need to get off of your chest, whether it's through speaking out in this room or in the chat, just so we can kind of shed that and let that go? Or anything you want to design with me? Give that next minute or so to see if anyone wants to share, and then we'll dive right in. See a lot of thumbs ups in the chat. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay. So what is money mindset and why is it so important when it comes to cash management? A money mindset is how we think about money, how our money narratives about money, it affects the way we take care of money, make money financial decisions. And it comes from, it could be ancestral, generational, how we were raised, and it could be how we were taught at school, how we're not taught at school, the things that you hear at a coffee shop when someone was dealing with money and they might have lost or gained a lot of money, and that all comes into how we think about money, how we manage, and how we deal with money. And so the reason why this is so important is because when we have a empowered money mindset, we allow ourselves to peel off any judgment that we have around money, any judgment about how we spend, how we earn, how there's a hustle culture. So how sometimes we feel like, oh, other people are hustling, we're not, or I'm hustling, and there's judgment on others as well. So if we have an empowered money mindset, none of that matters. And what's most important is that I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing everything I can. Having an empowered money mindset for cash management is also really important because it reduces financial stress. When we have an empowered approach, empowered money mindset approach, when we make financial decisions, you gain the confidence to take control of your financial life. And this confidence enables you to navigate financial challenges, negotiate better terms on loans and salaries, and it helps you make decisions that's aligned with your long-term financial goals and short-term financial goals. And in return, it really helps foster a sense of independence when it comes to money. An empowered money mindset also promotes financial confidence and independence. Sorry, my notes are all, Mercury retrograde is making my words all cluttered together. And so now I'm like, what am I looking at? And having an empowered money mindset promotes financial, and see, there's like a little ghost on my computer. Having an empowered money mindset also encourage ongoing learning and adaptability. So an empowered money mindset isn't about being static. It isn't about staying at where you're at, because things change all the time. Economy changes, interest rate changes. We've got inflation in the play. So when you have an empowered money mindset, it allows you to be to adapt to current situations without having too much anxiety and stress. It allows you to adapt to economic changes, making sure that your money management approach evolves with time and your life circumstances. So you can see that a balanced money mindset, it's so important. And I personally think that this is the first step. I think having an empowered money mindset goes before even going out there and understand financial knowledge and financial literacy. I think this is the first step, and it's more important than knowledge, because knowledge you can go and learn, and you can also ask for experts' help. Whereas mindset sits within you. It's how you present yourself, even when you go to the bank, go to maybe get a line of credit, or when you are starting a business, where you're out there seeking opportunities, so we're asking for a higher raise. And having a disempowered money mindset really, it feels like in the body, it just feels really heavy. And when you're making decisions from this heavy energy, it's what is a metaphor for it? It's almost kind of like you're in a rat race and you can't get out of it. And it affects the way you make money decisions. It affects the way you see your financial situation as opportunities for growth. Thank you. How do I pronounce your name in the chat? Is it Raquel? Rachel, am I saying this right? I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with pronunciations. But she's saying this is so real. Mindset makes a world of difference. And it's so true. And so I have a quote that says, true abundance isn't about doing. It's in who you are, who you're being. And so on that note, we're going to do a visualization that will take about 10 minutes. So if you can find a comfortable position, hopefully you're sitting on a comfortable chair. So take a minute to do that. And I have a video that I'd like to share. So just allow yourself to arrive, and get comfortable in your seat. And feel free to turn off your camera, because I will ask you to close your eyes. And you'll get a few minutes afterwards to journal. So if I ask any questions, just answer it in your head, in your heart, and know that you'll have some time to make notes. This is an opportunity to let your imagination go. Keep your mind open to whatever shows up. Whatever you experience is fine. And now take a deep breath and let your energy settle a little bit. And let your eyes drift closed and put your attention on your breath as it enters and leaves your body. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice how every time you breathe out, you become slightly more relaxed. And notice if you're holding any tension anywhere in your body. Perhaps in your shoulders, in your jaw, or in your hands. And just notice it and let that tension melt away on an exhale. Now, tune into your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Notice the rhythm of the muscle that pumps that life-giving blood to every part of your body. Place your hand lightly on your heart and tune into the love and compassion that lives there. Perhaps you remember a moment where you felt strong love and compassion, and get in touch with it now. And let the energy flow from your heart throughout your whole body. Feel the warmth of this energy. This is self-acceptance. And from this place, ask yourself, what are my unique strengths and abilities? And which ones do I want to celebrate? Now spread your love and compassion around these strengths and abilities that are part of you. Let yourself feel the celebration. Notice the things that you judge about yourself and spread love, tenderness, and compassion to these things as well. Taking your shining wholeness and your broken bits, all of it, with your loving self-acceptance. Know that all of this is a part of you and belongs here. Know that all of you is needed for the fullest expression of your own humanity. This is the resonance of self-acceptance, spreading love and compassion over all parts of you, the parts you easily accept and the part that you don't. And just allow yourself to sit there for a second before we continue to the next part. Notice your breath now and bring your awareness to your gut. This is the place of instinct, of knowing, of personal power. Think back to a time when you were in your power and took a stand or made an important decision. Feel into it. And in your mind's eye, or in reality, plant your feet firmly on the floor and rest your hands on your hip, inviting all the energy of your gut, summoning your strength and personal power. This is where your self-authority lives. Feel the strength and resourcefulness of your self-authority. Tune in and ask, what matters most to me now? What is important enough to me to make a stand for it? And listen for the answer. Shift your posture now, straightening your spine, feeling your shoulders relaxed and strong, chest open. This is you, the creator of your life story. You with the instinct, knowledge, and strength to make a difference. And ask yourself, what is my contribution to my world? What can I be counted on to make real in my world? And listen for the answers. This is the resonance of self-authority. And now bring your attention back to your heart and accepting all of it. Feel your heart expand as you take in and accept the challenges and the joys of your life's journey. And connect to your gut now, inviting strength, resolve, and your own personal power. And feel these two energies as they flow through your body. This is your leader within fully activated. From this place, ask yourself, what is the impact I would have on others in my world? Listen or feel into the answer. What is the impact I would have on others in my world? And now, ask yourself one final question. What is a name, a word, or structure that will give me immediate and easy access to my leader within? Know that your leader within is a powerful, easily accessible resource that lives within you. And connect with your leader within, your inner leader, and take a moment to express gratitude for the love and the power of your leader within. And now inhale deeply, breathing in this experience and knowing and trusting that you will remember what you need to remember about this inner journey. And let the breath go. And with another conscious breath, gently stretch, move your body a little. And whenever you're ready, let your eyes drift open. And before you come back, take about 3 to 5 minutes to journal whatever comes through, the answers to any of the questions that was asked during the visualization. And once you've done that, You can give me a thumb up or turn on your camera so I know you're all here and you're all ready to go. Thanks, Jasmine. Thank you, Veronica. Thanks, Harley. Thanks, Marika. Thanks, Honha. Let's take another 2 to 3 minutes. Thanks, Julia. Thank you. And so as you're coming back from that, I've got 2 other journal prompts for you, and also you'll go into a breakout room to share your experience and what came through. The first question is, what inner leader qualities came in during the visualization? And what is the structure that you can have in place to remind you of these qualities? And by structure, I mean, a little figurine or a picture on your phone, or something that can be present. Sometimes the visual is really helpful to remind yourself when you're making a hard decision or making a financial decision that makes you a little anxious or nervous. You can tap into your inner leader and the qualities of your inner leader before you make that decision. So that's what I would like you to have a chat with your partner. So you go in pairs. And give you 1 more minute to write down anything you need to. And Joya, I think we'll send them into the breakout at around 2:35. And you and I can stay in the main room. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
All right, is everyone ready to go in and for a chat? Thumbs up? Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Diana. Awesome. Okay, let's go. Enjoy.
Hey folks, I see some people still haven't joined their rooms. if you could just accept the invitation that was sent, that'd be great. I saw one person unable to. That's no problem. Just let me know if you're experiencing any issues.
You didn't get a partner?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll move you to a different room. I'm sorry about that, Lee. Or Leah, sorry. Just give me one moment.
I blame it on the Mercury retrograde. Can I do that every time I have a technical difficulty?
Okay. Sending you off. You should
Awesome.
have a pop-up now. Did anyone else have a similar issue? Happy to reassign folks if anyone else is experiencing the issue.
We've got 3 people here in the main room, and that's fine if I just want to make sure they're not affecting the groupings. Maybe we can move the single ones to a different room.
For sure. I'm on it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem. Okay.
Stop sharing. We'll keep
Just
them
double
till,
checking.
yeah.
I think everyone has a partner. Give me one
Perfect.
sec.
Thank you so much. Got some people who came back, which is fine. I understand that not everyone has the capacity.
Yeah.
Joa, if we can also pause recording for a real quick second. Thank you, Joa. Actually, there's a question in the chat before I go to the next slide. It's from Aisha and says, my problem, to be honest, is that I have trouble not touching my savings. What are the 3 things that may help me save money better? And no worries for getting in late. I'll leave this in the parking lot, and if I can't get to it, if we run out of time, you'll have my contact information, and I'll also make sure that this gets answered. I can send it to Joya so everyone gets a copy of that answer as well. And thank you for the question. Okay, so now let's talk about, thank you. Now let's talk about cash management. And so what is so important about cash management? And cash management is important because it ensures financial security. An effective cash management helps ensure that you have enough resources to cover your daily expenses and unexpected costs. This contributes to a stable financial situation, preventing stress associated with financial uncertainty. Having a strong cash management avoids unnecessary debts. By understanding your cash, the ins and outs, where your money is coming from, where your money is going, you can avoid accumulating unnecessary debt. And when I say debt, it really is emphasizing on the unnecessary, because sometimes we get a mortgage for buying a property, or we get a line of credit for building your business. So there's a difference between a healthy debt and unnecessary debt. And so in this case, when we talk about cash management, it's to help you avoid or eliminate or reduce unnecessary debt. So the unnecessary debts like this includes, but not limited to, high interest rate debt from credit cards or small loans. And because we all know that when that adds up, it can be financial crippling over time. Cash management is also important because it helps us achieve financial goals. Good cash management allows us to set realistic financial goals and work towards achieving them. This could include saving for a down payment, again, on a house, funding for a different types of degrees that we want to get, other types of education, and also planning for retirement. Each goal can strategically be approached with proper financial planning when we have good cash management. The next one is plan for the future. A little bit similar to setting those goals. Managing your cash effectively includes saving for future needs and life events such as vacation, your children's education, your retirement. I see Han has got her little one here. So saving for her education and just making sure that at any time you're prepared for major life changes without financial strain. Last but not the least is reducing, it really helps reducing financial stress. Knowing that you have a handle over your finances can significantly reduce stress and anxiety related to money. Effective cash management provides a sense of control, confidence, and well-being, making it easier to enjoy life without constant worry. And when we bring in the mindset into this is when we have an empowered money mindset, it helps with all of these related to cash management. It helps us feel ease and light and playful and fun and tranquil, like we're in Greece or in an open space. And from that place, you are then able to make sound financial decisions that's aligned with your life purpose. Perfect. There's some more questions in the chat that we will address when we get to Q&A. So there are 5 main components of cash management. The first part is budgeting and expense tracking. So when we have a sound cash management structure, it includes having a budget to plan and monitor your spending. This helps in understanding where your money is going and ensure that you are where you want to be financially. By knowing your expenses, you can better manage your financial resources. The other component of cash management is to create an emergency fund. With good cash management, it includes setting aside money for unexpected expenses such as medical emergencies, car repairs, and sudden job loss. Emergency fund acts as a financial buffer that can help you avoid debt and provide peace of mind. There's also debt management. Managing your cash effectively helps you be in control, and again, reducing debt. It involves prioritizing debt repayments, particularly those with high interest rates, and avoid unnecessary borrowing, which then improves your overall financial health. There's also savings and investment. Cash management is critical for planning and saving for future needs, such as, retirement, education, purchasing a home. It involves making informed decisions about investments that can grow your wealth over time, helping to secure your financial future. And I think the investment piece in this day and age is so important to mention that it can be of any forms. A lot of people think investment has to be a certain way. It's either only stock or term deposit or buying a property. But there's a lot of different ways to invest your money now with a smaller amount, such as EFT or say high interest rate savings account with the bank if we're putting the money into an emergency fund, to also make sure that even though we're not touching the money, it's not sitting in the checking account, not collecting any interest. And the last component is setting financial goals to gain independence. Proper cash management allows you to set and achieve financial goals, whether they're short-term, like going on a vacation, or long-term, like planning for retirement. By managing your finances effectively, you can gain financial independence and reduce reliance on credit. And I have a cash summary template that I would like to share and go over with all of you that hopefully will help answer some of the questions that was in chat. Perfect. And I'll throw that in the chat. It comes in 2 formats. And I'm acknowledging that there's questions about inflation, about debt management, and these are really great questions. And so I'll drop the file in the chat. Okay. And also the link to the Google Doc version. There you go. Let me know if the Google Doc is working. If you're using the Google Doc version, make sure you create a copy, save a copy of it. Thank you, Joya. Just so you're not working off of this particular copy, which everyone has access to, which I've done in the past for a slideshow. And then the organizer was like, what is happening? And I go, I have no idea what you're talking about. So it's a common thing to do. Perfect. Let me just share this spreadsheet here. Thank you for letting me know that it works. And if you're not familiar with Excel in general, definitely feel free to give me a shout afterwards if you want me to go deeper into how that works. Let's take a quick look at this summary. Make it smaller. Can everyone see this okay? I know the words might be a little small, but you also have a copy of it. I want to do a quick overview, like a high-level overview of this spreadsheet, how you can work with it. Then I want to dive into the emotions, how you want to feel when you're working on certain parts of this Excel spreadsheet. So up here is a quick overview of where your cash is at. This includes income and other cash. So if you're self-employed, this is your self-employed income, that the cash that goes into the bank. If you're an employee, this is after-tax income that goes into your bank every 2 weeks or twice a month. Then we've got expenses here that includes all of your expenses, everything, excluding your payments into your debt. Then you'll have a difference. And with good cash management, unless there's circumstances that's unforeseeable that you need to dip into your credit, the difference is usually a positive number. And then you can enter in the savings you want to put away this month. And if you have debt payments, the number goes in here, and you'll notice that it goes into, it's a formula, and there's a table at the bottom that will pull the number into this summary at the top. And I'll go over that real quick with you in a second. Then here's your leftover cash. What this means is when you have a positive leftover cash, it's a little bit like I have a checking account and I'd like to have a certain amount of money in my checking account for the just in case. So sometimes it's a few $100s. Some people like it to be at maybe 1,500, just so you at anything you need to kind of make a quick payment, there's the cash sitting in the checking account ready to go. But the leftover cash should be at a minimum. It shouldn't be all of your savings in a checking account, because then it's sitting there not making any interest income or any investment income. And you're missing out on the opportunity. So if we scroll down from line 17 to 22, this is where you can break down your income, the money that's coming in. So this can be salary, business income. And then I also include other cash breakdowns, so like gifts or inheritance or government benefits and things like that. And so I'm just randomly putting numbers here. Let's do 2. and then maybe do 200. You'll see that the formula is already there and it goes directly to the top. So you don't have to re-enter it again. The only thing you have to enter into this table is the total savings. And then now, after you work on the income, you can take a look at the expense buckets. Notice that you're not seeing a lot of lines. This is a place where we're not going deep into the details, but more like a higher level. So this could be your needs, the essentials, your wants, self-care, anything like that. So let's just say if we do that, oops, that is not realistic. Let's say 250, self-care 250. You'll notice that it goes up here, so it's calculated for you for the difference. And then the last portion is your debt balance tracker. So how to work this is you start with your opening balance. So for example, as of January 1st or December 31st, what is your total amount of line of credit or credit card debt? And so I'm just going to randomly put a number here. And you'll see that everything is pre-populated. The formulas are already in there. And I'll explain a little bit later as to what these means. Then you do, looking at your statement, it'll tell you what your interest is for that period. So let's just say 100. And you use your credit card or your line of credit to make purchases. If we do 200 and you made a payment, say you had a little extra cash this month and you make a $400 payment, this will show you what your ending balance is at. And then this ending balance gets carried over to the next month as an opening balance. So you don't have to re-enter that again. And so if we scroll all the way up, you'll see that it's at, oh, let me resend the spreadsheet to you. I made an adjustment and now the formula is a little off. So you'll see that debt is at 400. This is debt payment is at 400. And then you've got a leftover cash of 300. So Joya, I'll send you a revised copy of this to make sure that the formulas are done correctly, as well as the Google. That way they can use this as a template. Does anyone have any questions about this spreadsheet? Just kind of an overlook, like a higher level look at all the different components.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is that the debt balance tracker? Is that if you have a debt like a credit card and then you have a line of credit, how do I need to insert additional line?
That's a great question. For this particular summary purpose, you can add them all together. And I would recommend that you have a separate tracker for the details of the balance. So for example, let me share again. On a separate tab, you can say you've got credit card, and this is balance, and this is payment. I can also include this in as a separate tab if that's helpful for all of you, and resend this file having the summary, the details of the debt balance. Would that be helpful for everybody? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, so Maria is perfect. Yeah, I see some yeses in the chat. So yeah, so you can do credit card, line of credit, which I usually abbreviate it to LOC. And then say, if we do, I'll make sure that there's a formula. And then this gets tied into, I'll have it tied into the debt balance as well. So you don't have to re-enter the number again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Anyone else have any questions before we tap into the feelings of dealing with this worksheet? Okay. So when we're talking about sources of income and other cash, again, here are some examples. It could be employment and business income, gifts and government benefits, inheritance, etc. And when looking at your income and other sources of cash, ask your, before you even tap into it, having the spreadsheet open, I really invite you to tap into your body, your emotions, and just see what feelings are coming up. Does your income make you feel expansive, abundant, or does it make you feel tight and small? And allow yourself to work through that emotion. And because it's until then, once you acknowledge your emotions, then you can shift your perspective, then you can tap into your inner leader and have a more empowered money mindset to tackle this spreadsheet. A lot of times what I see with clients is that because they're stuck in that emotions that they can't process, that's what prevents them from having a structure when it comes to working with their money, working with their cash and cash management. And I also invite you to, every time you write down your numbers every month, incorporate some gratitude practice. Yeah, Trisha says, income makes me feel tight and small because sometimes the amount is inconsistent. And so I invite you to tap into your inner leader, your leader within. And from that place of, it could be joy, empowerment, confidence. How would your inner leader, what does your inner leader want to say to you? And how do they help you tap into your gratitude? And there's always both ends to a sentence, to a situation, right? You can say, my income makes me feel tight and small because sometimes the amount is inconsistent. And I am grateful that it's providing what it's allowing me to go through my day-to-day life as of now. And then from that place of gratitude, then you can start longing for more. And I would like this to increase, or I would like to have a more expansive life. And what does that look like? That then taps into manifestation. Trisha, does that help? Perfect. Thank you. And so if we look at the expenses bucket, again, examples could be rent, groceries, needs, wants, self-care, etc. And when looking at your expenses, what are your feelings and body sensations that comes up? How restricted or stressed do you feel? And Rashma, yes, there'll be an updated version of this Excel spreadsheet in Excel file form and Google Doc form. Joya will send that out to you once I update everything. And Christina says, if you have some strategies for managing the emotional cost of fluctuations for the self-employed and small business owners, that would be amazing. Yeah, most definitely. I can talk about that if we have a little bit of time at Q&A. And I love that we're sharing different ways to save a little bit on the day-to-day. So coming back to this expense bucket section of the spreadsheet, we tap into our body sensations, whether it's restricted or stressed or expansive or relaxed, how you want to feel, and just really owning those feelings. And once you own those feelings, ask yourself what's there. What money mindset is causing these feelings? Where does it come from? How were you taught in your past to bring these anxieties and feelings that make you feel small. And then allow your leader within to tap in and shed the guilt or the stress and the anxiety. And from that place of calmness, you can start writing down, what are you longing for? What more do you want? What more are you longing for in your life? And also, what can you appreciate about spending money? And when I say that, I mean, when you have to pay your bills with the income that comes in, every time you make a payment on your bank or you're making a payment on your phone bill, how do you appreciate and say thank you for having this cash to pay for my bills? And thank you for having spending this money so I can stay connected to my loved ones with my phone, with my internet. And so every time you spend money, bring more appreciation into the spending, because what you appreciate appreciates. So when you appreciate your money that pays for the bills, and you appreciate the expenses that helps you live your day to day, you as a person appreciates as well. And once you have that space open, abundance naturally comes in. And Trisha says, to manage my emotions, I pay extra on my bills each month so that there's always a credit balance, if that makes any sense. Yes, it does. Yeah, and appreciating that you have extra cash to pay extra on your bills. Thank you for sharing that. And on the debt balance tracker, the examples of that is credit card balances, line of credit, and other borrowings. And so again, when you're looking at your debt balances, what is coming up? How are you breathing? Or are you even breathing when you're looking at the debt balances? And how can your inner leader support you? Know that when paying off debt, it takes time. And so a lot of that the guilt and the self-blame comes when you feel like it's taking longer than you want to, or you want to pay it off tomorrow so you don't have to deal with the stress again. And by having a cash management, having a tracker, it allows you to see that you're actually paying it off, even though you're still seeing a balance on the statement. And it really helps strengthen and give, it's that boost of confidence. I feel like when you know that there's a structures in place, and every month you get excited because you know you're paying it off. And also having a cash management structure, you also notice that, oh, is my purchases too high using my credit card and line of credit? And if it is, what are these purchases and how do I want to manage it? So I think the most important thing here is really about your knowing that you're at choice, and you're making the choice with your inner leader, not your, I call it the shadow side, which could be a little heavier, a little more restrictive, a lot of anxiety, a lot of guilt and shame. And so as a final discussion, we got about 18 minutes before we finish. I'd like to open the room up to Q&A. And before we do that, there is a question of what is one thing that you like to commit to today? And I ask that because, again, healing and growing and learning how to manage your cash, it takes time. A lot of times people stop because they look at it, it's overwhelming, and then they go, okay, I can't do it. I'm not good with math. I'm not meant to know how to deal with my finances. Sometimes people have self-negative talk. It's like, I'm a failure. I can never do this. This is why I'm in this position. And all I'm asking is one baby steps. What is one thing you can commit to today? What is one thing you can commit to today to tap into your inner leader, to take a look at the cash management and trust that by doing it a little bit at a time, every single week, every single day, every single month, you'll get familiar with it, and it can be fun if you allow it to be. And so I'm going to stop sharing the screen so I can see all of you and the chat and see what comes up. What are you committed to today? And what is the structure you like to bring to remind yourself who your inner leader is? And it doesn't have to be who, it can be where, it could be what. And I'm just going to go back to some of the questions. Yes, is it Yulia?
Yeah, Debbie. Thank
Hi.
you for sharing. I think it's important topic how to manage cash. However, I know that I had experience when I start to do this, and it's like um, big work because you must every expenses like notice, make notes, and it takes time. So it's like a time consuming strategy, but it gives me understanding what expenses is the most big part in my life, and what I need to focus on to understand why it's happened, and so maybe and change my style of life. So I like your presentation. I only noticed the last one, but if you send the link where to see, yeah, I can see the whole presentation.
Yes.
I will try maybe your like not example but temple to try.
Yeah, I would definitely, and also I think you're talking about, is it these links that like my contact and my website?
Okay, LinkedIn also good. And I also want to ask you, how do you think cash is perspective, cash management is perspective for us, or it should be like money, virtual money? Because
What is it? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
credit cards, like we use cash not so commonly now, but
Yeah.
mostly we use credit card or debit cards.
Ah, I see what you mean. Yes, when that's such a great question. When we have, if we have cash struggles, I don't like to use the word problems, but if we have cash struggles, we're struggling with cash, I highly recommend to start by allocating a amount of money into your checking account and pay with your debit card. So you know the ins and outs of your cash and you're using your cash. And unless it's necessary, try not to tap into your credit card. And know that when you do have to tap into your credit card for things that you really need, again, mindset wise, is to let go of that shame and the guilt and express gratitude, but also keeping track of it in the tracker. So you know you're not going over and you can still at least pay your minimum payment. Because it really affects your credit score if you can't even make payment, and they might actually even come back and say you have to pay for the full amount. And the mindset of it is to, again, and I know it's hard, but bring gratitude in and say, right at this moment, I am appreciative of at least I have the credit limit to pay for anything that is emergency. And I have a longing for myself to bring in more or organize my cash in a way that I will no longer have to tap into my credit cards. And I do this every night, like cash affirmations, not this particular one, but cash affirmations every night when I'm in the shower and before I go to bed, because that's how it helps me manifest. I'm all about manifestation. And when you're in the shower, the water is cleansing your body and your soul, and you're putting out affirmations, you'll be surprised how you might get a surprise inflow of money from somewhere, from the government, from friends, family, anywhere. And it has worked for me in the past. I've done that. I've been doing that for months, and I would get a call and say, oh, we need a session, one-off session with you. Income starts to flow in as I become more appreciative of my expenses and my income. And there's so many amazing questions, but I want to tackle one, I believe, I can't remember who it was from, but it talks about, one of them, it says, my problem, to be honest, is what I have trouble not touching my savings. What are the 3 things that may help me? And so it's also important to know when you're putting down savings, and maybe I'll add another tab so you can break down what your savings are like. It's important to know that when you're saving, and if you're saving for an emergency, that emergency fund, you can tap into it because that's what it's there for. So if you have an emergency, medical or anything like that, car broke down, it's to shed the guilt of like, oh my God, I'm tapping into my savings. The emergencies is there for doing that. And if you are tapping into savings that for long term, like you're doing that for retirement, then come back to your cash management and your savings structure and see how you can allocate a little bit more for emergencies. And where in your cash can you shift? So you know that you always have enough for any circumstances that's unforeseeable. And there's also another question that talks about this: if you own your own business, how do you deal with the anxiety and the stress of fluctuation of income? Once you have, if you do, and I invite you to go back maybe 3 to 6 months in your past cash situations and just kind of see what the pattern is for your business. And if you have the time, do maybe a whole year, just so you can kind of get a feel of when this money comes in the most, and plan accordingly. Again, having an emergency. So for example, for coaches, for example, at the end of the year, when people are about to go on Christmas leaves or in the summer, we tend to have a dip. And so when I have that on the cash management, on the budget, to go, okay, I'm expecting that there's to be a dip and I have saved up for it, then it makes it easier to deal with the ups and downs of the income of your money that's coming in. And anyone else? I know there's a whole bunch of questions in here. I might not be able to get to everything. I'll try. Just going all the way back to the top. How do you cope with inflation? When you use this cash management, when you're not at the month yet, so we're in April right now, you can start creating a spreadsheet for next year. And use it as a budget, even though it doesn't say that. Use it as a budget, so you can add a little bit of inflation into using the numbers that you have for this year and maybe a little bit of last year. So you can start forecasting what is going to come in and what is going out. So inflation, for example, I think we're at what, 3 to 5%. So you can add 3 to 5% into the numbers, and then for your income, ask what you're expected to get, what raise are you expected to get? And when you put that down, that's also a form of manifestation. When you go, I'm expecting to get paid this amount for next year, at the end of the year, that I'm expecting to get a raise, you put that on, you'll just be surprised how, and then you go, if not this, then something better. And just put it out there, not thinking about it. You'll be surprised what comes in when you're at your annual review. Going through everything else. Christina, does that help? Does that answer your question about fluctuations in your emotional cost of running your own business? And Mac, I'll get to you in just 1 second. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, having that perspective and being able to look at 3, 6, 9 months or to a year to actually understand the ebbs and flows of the business, I think, yes, that's definitely going to help take away a lot of the unpredictable.
Awesome.
There are obviously other factors, like every business is different, right? So other things that could potentially interfere with this, but it's also, maybe those numbers can really sway other actions to ensure that continuity.
Most definitely. And two things before I get to Mac is when you're working on the spreadsheet, really allow yourself to shed perfectionism. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're off by $5, $10, $20, that's okay. The goal is to have a high level of where your cash is at. It's not to get super detailed and making sure that everything balances. And also a little bit goes a long way. So if you do it once a month, it might feel like a lot because there's a lot of transactions. There might be a lot of transactions on your statements. So if you do it every other day, every 3 days, and just go, oh, I wonder what came into my bank account, or I wonder what went on my credit card, and just bring a lot of curiosity and just start putting it on a spreadsheet. That way you'll be surprised by the end of the week or in 2 weeks time, you're like, oh, okay, I have all the numbers. It's all there. And I just need to look at the summaries. And Mac, you got your hands up for a while. Thanks for being so patient.
No worries. Thank you for this amazing presentation. I actually came in thinking I was going to be like, oh my God, I'm doing so many things wrong. And it was actually quite affirming to see the things that you were sharing and realizing that I'm not a weird person for the habits that I have. It's like tracking expenses and such. I guess my question is a little bit more philosophical. I'm someone who graduated right after the 2008 financial crisis and have gone through multiple layoffs.
Oh, for some reason
In that time, sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so I didn't actually start investing money for retirement. I should have been doing it in my 20s. I didn't start till 30.
And Mac, I want to pause and know that we are recording. Are you okay with
That's
us
fine.
recording? Okay, perfect.
That's
Thank
totally
you.
fine.
Awesome.
I guess how do I, because there's still that fear that, oh my God, what if there's another financial crash by the time I retire? So what is I guess one manageable habit to develop in terms of how we think about the money we're putting into a retirement fund?
In terms of mindset.
In terms of mindset, so that
Mhm.
the fear of like, what if there's another market crash and all of this money goes away? Because right now I'm told apparently I invest like a 60-year-old, and I'm like, yes, because 2008 has traumatized me in some ways.
Yeah. And so how has this 2008 incident shaped who you are? And you've explained a little bit of how you spend and save money. And how would you like to just give gratitude to the experience?
That I'm grateful for the fact that as tedious and difficult as that incident was, it actually allowed me to think about money in a very specific way and plan for any such future shockwaves, if you will, in the world.
And I want to acknowledge that you survived. You survived, and it helped you plan for the future. And if we were to bring a more empowering perspective into this, how do we want to deal with this past trauma? Tapping into your leader within your inner leader. What do you want to say to this past trauma?
I guess I got through it and I will get through it again.
Yeah. And you're okay now. And you know differently now. That has changed the way you save for your retirement. And you have full confidence. You have your inner leader to know that if it happens again, and knock on wood, hopefully we don't, you are also going to be okay and come out on top. And from this place, then you can go, how do I want to create a savings structure to make sure that if that does happen, thinking back, what do I need? What happened? What was necessary? And plan for it. And know that that can be part of your emergency fund. Yeah. Does that help you?
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
for that reminder.
Awesome. Thank you. We got 1 minute left and I can stay later. Sorry, Joya. I can stay a little later if you like, or we'll capture again the chat and I'll make sure that we get everything answered. Joya, I see that you're in the car, so I'm so sorry. If we can stay on a little later as well to make sure we capture everything in the chat, that would be awesome. But does anyone else have anything they'd like to ask or share before we end the session today? We're all good. Well, thank you so much for being here and for participating. I really appreciate your time. This is such an important work for your own inner growth, and you've got my contact information. Joey, I will send that out again. If I forget to cover anything, definitely feel free to reach out.
Hey everyone. I'm so glad that the session kept working. My internet stopped working, so I changed locations and it looks like everything still worked. So I'm so pleased. I'm gonna just drop in the chat a survey for you all. We do it a couple times a year. You have the opportunity to also win a prize if you do it. If you have any issues with the survey, just feel free to send me an email. Sometimes our survey platform can be a bit funny. I just wanted to share a big thank you, Debbie, for this presentation and just reading some of the comments come in. It definitely did shift. I think my mindset around money as well. And I really like that it's seen as something that we keep working on, because it is something that isn't kind of like a one and done, especially with, I think, how a lot of us have different experiences with money particularly. So just want to say thank you again and remind everyone, I will be sharing all the resources. And so as Debbie also so kindly shared, if there's any questions that we didn't quite capture, I did record all of them. So I'll be following up with Debbie just in case there's something there that we missed. And again, I'll be sharing Debbie's contact information as well as the slides and the various like Excel sheets too. So fear not, the recording will be in your inbox as well. So yeah, just thank you everybody for your participation and joining us this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Julia, are you able to pause recording?
Yeah.
Thank you.